Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Michelle Hammer. I have schizophrenia. Carolyn over here has a multitude of stuff. So today, what are we gonna do? We're gonna read some Reddit posts and give our opinions. Are you the a-hole? Are you not? Or just what's your situation, right? That's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna have a great time while we do it. Are you ready?
Yes, let's ready. Let's get into it.
We have some really interesting ones. This is from Reddit, Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for not sharing medical history before being pranked?
What?
Okay. Hey, I'm schizophrenic. Started when I was 22 and will last until I die. I'm active in schizophrenic communities, going to groups, the works, but I'm fairly private about it to most people, including friends. It's fairly common for people to think I'm eccentric, comes with the turf, due to some of my habits. Those habits include not going to parties or other places with lots of people, suddenly deciding not to do something. I have to be protective not to do or go to certain things if I think a delusion might be coming on. Saying the occasional odd quip, normal schizophrenic stuff. Okay. Some friends thought it would be funny to make it seem like I might be going crazy as a group. What kind of friends are these? I don't want these friends.
Even if they didn't.
And even if you didn't have a mental illness, why would a bunch of friends of yours want to make you seem like you're going crazy?
Yeah, that's still not nice.
That's like not like I don't want to be these people's friends.
Either way, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what do they do? They would individually wear something silly like a wizard hat or a dinosaur costume, T-Rex blow-up costume, to a group event, or say something totally out of the ordinary and pretend like it was normal. Police like to track people like you. COVID is just a way to microchip you, etc. These are very real scary thoughts to me. I would ask members of the group if they had heard concerns about these conspiracies or weird garb from the other members, but they all acted like they had hung out with that particular member that day and hadn't been involved. What? I was really, really scared that this could have been a massive delusion morphing into a full psychosis, so I preemptively checked myself into a hospital to stop myself from potentially hurting myself or diving further into the rabbit hole common in the schizophrenic community. Okay, I guess that's true. I was so scared my medication stopped working. No one heard from me for a few days while I was in the hospital, and when I checked out, I confided in one of them what had happened, and I got a really long apology explaining what had happened, and I blew up at them. Well, I can understand why.
Also,
these are the worst friends. I'm sorry. I hope you don't talk to these people.
You're not the friend anymore.
I have ignored attempts from the others trying to apologize and have no desire to talk with them again. As you should, whatever the thing is. Am I the asshole for not previously stating that I'm schizophrenic? No. These friends are horrible.
These kind of, I don't like pranks really at all, but these kind of pranks are just not okay. Like, just don't do them at all.
Where's this comment?
They're not funny. I'm sorry.
Even if you didn't disclose your medical history, they knew enough that saying those things would F with you, and if a prank doesn't leave both parties laughing, it isn't a prank, it's bullying.
Yeah,
toilet paper a house. Put some forks on a lawn.
Well,
do whatever.
Unless it's your parents' house.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, but they're friends.
I know.
They're
I'm
friends.
just saying, because that
you know
happened
what I'm
to me,
saying?
and then again,
making someone believe they're insane is not a prank.
No, you can't.
Well, what happens at the end of the prank if she wasn't schizophrenic in the first place? She becomes completely neurotypical. What happens at the end? Oh, you're not crazy. We were messing with you. Oh, I'm glad I'm not crazy. How does the prank end? I don't like these people. I don't know who these friends are. This is how in their 20s. People in their 20s do this. Sounds like the worst setup for the worst movie.
I don't like it. Continue.
I don't like it. Okay, we're gonna move on because we just don't like these people and we don't want to talk about them anymore. So, am I the asshole for not opening up about my schizophrenia and BPD? Right off the bat, you would say no. I, 17 female, 17, and my partner, 16 female, so we're talking about teenagers here. We've been together for a while. I've been trying not to mess things up, as that tends to happen. Me and her have been together for about 3 months, and we've been friends for about 8 months. I've always joked about my schizophrenia and BPD, but never opened. Recently, she's been asking what my schizophrenia is like, and I didn't want to tell her about how I mainly see FNAF characters due to how much they scared me as a child, to the point where I see it as a hallucination. And 2, I don't want to sound insane. I tend to be ashamed about that part due to how childish it was. One time she brought up shadow people she's seen on TikTok. She showed me and asking if I've seen them and talked to them. I really said I did, but then I left it at that. But whenever we talk about my borderline personality disorder, it goes south. I tend to not really feel some emotions are strong as others, but moods can switch at the drop of a hat. She's scared that I'll relapse constantly because I won't open up about how it really is living with schizophrenia and BPD. She tends to get upset and frustrated at me when I don't open up. Every time she brings up my schizophrenia or BPD, I immediately dissociate and try to end the conversation and stop talking for the rest of the day. Okay, that's a little bit much. Like, the rest of the day? The day? I mean, give it an hour or something. Like, why you gotta do the day? The day is a lot. Like, a lot. Okay. I know it seems like I'm just bottling up my emotions, but I feel like she will just see me as a completely different person. Am I the asshole for not telling her? Note: yes, I've been professionally diagnosed with schizophrenia, and I've been diagnosed by my psychiatrist ever since last year whenever I finally got diagnosed. I was first diagnosed with psychosis due to seeing hallucinations ever since I was in 4th grade. I'm now a junior in high school and years of therapy, and I finally got my diagnosis. Yes, I've also been diagnosed with BPD for about 2 years now. I think she needs to respect that if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to talk about it. Or say, like, you can ask me these questions, but you can't ask me those questions.
Why?
Like, put up some boundaries. Because you can set boundaries. You don't have to tell everything about everything. Do you disclose every part of your whole medical history to every single person that you've been dating for 3 months? Like, oh, do you want to hear about my birth? What happened with my mother? Was I a C-section or a vaginal birth? Or did my mother get an epidemic?
I think you're taking it too far.
You know what I'm saying? You don't just have to disclose every single medical thing about you. You are still you. You're your personality. You're you. You don't have to say every little thing about everything. I mean, yeah, what are they opening up to you about? Are they being as open and raw as they want, you to be to them? Are they doing the exact same, like, oh, tell me about every single thing that's going on in your mind, Because then I know that I have stupid hallucinations and delusions that are, like, the dumbest things ever. So if anyone asked me about it, they'd be like, why would you even be thinking about that or having a hallucination about that? It'd be so stupid. I'd rather not tell anyone.
Yeah, sometimes you never tell me, and I'm like, I feel like either you don't trust me or you're just, like, so stupid, but...
They're so stupid. Half the time they're so stupid, it's not even worth saying. It'd be like, that's really weird for you to be thinking about. Why are you even thinking about that in the first place?
I know you can't help it, but it's like, if I'm trying to talk to you about something and then you're ignoring me because you're talking about your own thing, and then I'm like, what are you saying? Instead of listening to me, and then you don't even tell me. Then I was like, alright, I guess that was more important, even though it's not, like, you can't help it, but it's like, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, thanks. I was just also, like... You know what I mean?
I get you.
Like, I was talking to you about something fucking important, and then, how cute Paisley is, and then you're over there talking to yourself about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and then you know what I mean? And then I'm like, alright, well, I guess...
Is that a scenario you just made up?
I mean, it probably does happen all the time, though.
I don't really talk to myself about Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Whatever, I'm just saying, a little thing you're talking about, when I'm trying to tell you about, like... Oh, I think Paisley's sick, and you're like, oh, blah-de-da-de-da-la-la.
Does Paisley often get sick?
I'm just saying, if it was...
I mean, these, like, scenarios you're coming up with are quite ridiculous. Okay. We gotta move to the next one, because I don't like where this is even going. Am I the asshole for lying about mental health issues before I started babysitting? I mean, I used to babysit, and I think I was a pretty bad babysitter because I didn't want to hang out with the kids too much. But that's when I was in high school. Why would I want to babysit when I can do things with my friends? Just saying. Okay. Hello! Disclaimer that I do not typically use Reddit or the internet very much, but I have read a few posts from here and just now, so I hope my format is okay. My friend told me to send my situation, so hello for when she reads this. Thanks for the intro. Okay. Anyway, I, 18 male, didn't get my school diploma due to being expelled in January, and I couldn't go to another high school before the year ended. I'm planning to go for my GED, but money is kind of tight right now, so I have to babysit for money before I can. The reason I was expelled is because I had a psychotic episode at my school, and I was diagnosed with schizophrenia shortly afterwards. Nobody was injured during this, but there was a lot of shouting and screaming and just really scary, weird shit that you could not imagine why I was expelled. What would you have to do to get expelled? Because if you have a mental illness and nobody was injured, I am currently babysitting 2 kids, 8 female and 11 male, pretty regularly as their parents are busy and I never have a lot going on. I've been doing it for 5 months now. The parents have to do a background check on me since I do pretty regularly, and I lied to them and said I have a gap year before college because I didn't want them to know about my condition. They also asked me if I had any mental health issues, and I lied and said no because I felt like it didn't affect my ability to do babysit and I wasn't relevant. Are they allowed to ask that, though? Ooh.
Are they allowed to ask that?
Are they allowed to? I mean, if it's private, if it's just two people, yeah, or if it's an agency, it's different. But if you're just like the kid down the street, you can say whatever you want to say.
I know, but is it nice?
There's no HR.
Is it right to...
That's true. Is it right to ask? Well, when the kids were asleep a few days ago, I started hallucinating again, and it doesn't usually happen at their house when the parents are about to come home, but this one was really realistic. It was visual and audio, and I ended up sitting in a corner in their kitchen waiting for it to pass. They got home not long after, and I couldn't really speak, and I was just shaking and sobbing. Uh-oh. I calmed down after a bit, and I decided to come clean about it, and I told them that I have schizophrenia and that I have had it the whole time and that I was just looking at. They were really upset, and they felt lied to. The father said that I put his children in danger and that he is very lucky I didn't do something to harm them. Oy vey. I would never do this, by the way. I was also told that I'm a very sick person and that I will never babysit for them again, so that's fun. I said some stuff to them, too. I told them to go F theirselves and they can go to hell, but nothing more than that. Well, I don't disagree. They can. I will be honest, I am not on any medication right now. It does not work for me. That is not true. Okay. But I had never had anything bad at their house, and I didn't feel like it was bad enough to disclose it and none of their business. Am I the asshole? I feel bad because I feel like maybe they are right and I shouldn't have said it, but I can't tell if they are saying objective truth or just simply upset. If he's saying that his schizophrenia isn't that bad and he can take care of these kids and everything is fine, how did he get expelled from school? If he got expelled from school because it's so bad, how does he have it under control? Something doesn't make any sense. OP had a psychotic break that got them expelled from school. The school didn't view this as a medical situation that could be treated and the student allowed to return. This makes me wonder just how bad the episode was. And now OP is still not treating this condition so bad that they were expelled. Thanks that they should be allowed to have young children in their care. Not just the asshole, but a danger to themselves and others. I wouldn't go that far, but I really want to, if he wasn't hurting the kids, he wasn't hurting the kids. Or she, or whatever it was. But I'm just saying, for expelled from school, I don't understand how somehow they weren't put on meds, because if something so big happens, that's the catalyst that now you have to be medicated for something.
Is he being treated in other ways? Who knows? I don't know.
Is there a therapist here? I just don't understand. You had something huge happen to you. How are you now not in any kind of treatment? And how can you say that meds don't work for you? Obviously, you haven't tried enough meds, from my experience. So I just don't understand your situation, really. I'm not really getting it. Do you understand what I don't get this.
No.
We're gonna move on because we're confused. Here we go, guys. We got another one here. Am I the asshole for doubting my fiancé was able to beat schizophrenia?
What?
How do you beat schizophrenia? You punch it in the face? This is making me doubt everything, even myself. I am definitely not here for validation, and I'm fully prepared to get dressed down in the comments, hence the throwaway. First of all, I want to say that I absolutely adore my fiancé, Sarah. Our relationship has been incredible, and I truly believe we were on the same page. A united force. I could go on, but you get the idea. Sarah's big into natural medicine. I saw nothing wrong with this whatsoever. If it were essential oils or crystals, that would be one thing. I thought it was a bit old-fashioned. It reminded me of my gran, which wasn't a bad thing. Example, she had a cough. She would take a spoonful of honey mint tea for a stomach ache. For a sore throat, she would gargle some concoction. Perfectly harmless. It was always my understanding that if she was truly ill, she would trust modern medical science. Well, she made a liar out of me.
What?
I'm not sure what prompted this discussion, but we were talking about mental health, and she was very against medications for mental illness. It became this whole thing, and she asked me, kind of ticked off, if I thought she needed to be on medication. No, of course not, I told her, confused. That's when she told me that she'd been diagnosed with schizophrenia, among other things, when she was younger. Had actually spent, I think it was 6 months in our state hospital, which was notorious for being a not-so-nice place, and hadn't been on meds before we met. She's 27, and I met her right before she turned 24. She had never told me any of this before. I was flabbergasted and didn't know how to respond at all. She dropped a bombshell on me that I needed time to process. I couldn't wrap my head around what she just said. I wanted it to be untrue. That night, I reached out to her brother. He's a good dude that I consider a buddy. He confirmed everything she told me, and then some.
And then some?
This is getting really long. I don't want to go over the character limit, but Sarah and I are major disagreement over this. She thinks I'm an asshole, and I'm stigmatizing her for her past because I would like her to see a psych doctor. She claims she beat the illness and calls herself a survivor.
Yeah,
I mean, if you didn't know she had schizophrenia until she told you she had schizophrenia,
she was doing pretty well.
What's the problem?
What do you mean, what's the problem? She should also...
But if he didn't know, why should he make her now see a doctor?
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if nothing was going on.
Nothing's going on. There's no issue. Why make her go see a doctor?
Yeah.
I understand, that's a diagnosis that you don't know anything about, and it's very scary to you because you've only heard very bad things about it. So that's why you want her to see a doctor. That makes sense, because you're terrified.
She should have told you beforehand. That's, a long time not to say anything.
I mean, but she thinks she beat it. That's why she never told them. I mean, maybe she was just in a bad place at that time, and she just, got more stable. Maybe she didn't really have schizophrenia. Maybe she just was having a psychotic break at some point and got over it. Don't say you'll really beat schizophrenia, but you maybe had a psychosis and you don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying you just. But if she was fine, I don't think you should just go make her go see a psych doctor.
And if she relapses or something, then maybe talk about it. But
you know what? Why don't we end on that note? Again, this has been here.
This video,
Michelle and Carolyn and Reddit stories.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments what you think.